Hey everyone! Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to dive deep into a fascinating topic that's all about one of the most iconic coins in American history, the 1982 Lincoln penny. You might think it's just another penny, but trust me, there's much more to this little coin than meets the eye. It's not just a piece of copper, it's a potential goldmine for collectors and investors. You'll want to stick around until the end of the video, because we're going to break down everything you need to know about the 1982 Lincoln penny, its value, its history, and why this seemingly simple coin could be worth a lot of money. So, let's get into it. The Lincoln penny, first introduced in 1909, is one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. In fact, it's been in circulation for more than a century, and over that time, it has seen numerous design changes and material shifts. However, when we focus on the 1982 Lincoln penny, things get particularly interesting. To understand why the 1982 penny is so special, we need to take a quick look back at the history of the penny. The Lincoln cent was first created to honor President Abraham Lincoln, marking the 100th anniversary of his birth. The initial design featured Lincoln's profile on the obverse and a wheat stalk design on the reverse, which became known as the wheat penny. In 1959, the wheat penny design was replaced with the Lincoln Memorial reverse to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This version remained in circulation until 2008, when the reverse was changed again to a design that commemorates the Lincoln bicentennial. But the 1982 penny is where things get particularly fascinating. This was the year when the U.S. Mint made a significant change to the composition of the penny, and this change would lead to a range of rare and valuable varieties that are highly sought after by collectors today. Before 1982, the Lincoln pennies were made almost entirely of copper. They were composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc. However, due to the rising cost of copper and the fact that it was becoming increasingly expensive to mint pennies, the U.S. Mint decided to change the penny's composition in 1982. Instead of the traditional copper, they began using a mixture of 97.5% zinc and just 2.5% copper. This shift was intended to lower the cost of producing pennies, as copper was becoming far too expensive to continue using in such large quantities. Now, here's where things get really interesting. The U.S. Mint didn't immediately switch to the new composition in January 1982. Instead, they made the transition gradually, meaning that in 1982, both copper and zinc pennies were produced. So, if you have a 1982 penny, there's a good chance you're holding a coin made from either copper or zinc. But what makes the copper version of the 1982 penny so special? The 1982 copper penny, while still in production for part of the year, is extremely rare compared to the zinc version, and that rarity has turned it into a highly valuable coin among collectors. You see, because the U.S. Mint stopped producing copper pennies mid-year, the 1982 copper pennies were only made in limited numbers, and they are much harder to find in circulation today. In fact, depending on the condition of the coin, the 1982 copper penny can be worth a lot more than its face value. On average, these copper pennies can sell for anywhere between $1 to $10, but if you find one in uncirculated or mint condition, it could fetch anywhere from $100 to even $200 or more at auction. The rarity of these copper pennies is also compounded by the fact that many people don't even realize that they exist. They're just as small and unassuming as any other penny, and because they are made of the same size and color as the zinc pennies, they often get overlooked. However, with a little careful inspection, You might just find a small fortune hidden in your pocket change, so how do you know if you've got a 1982 copper penny? It's actually fairly easy to identify, but it requires a close inspection. The key factor to look for is the weight and the sound. A 1982 copper penny will weigh approximately 3.11 grams, while the zinc version weighs only about 2.5 grams. If you have a scale at home, simply weigh your penny to determine which type you have. If it weighs 3.11 grams, then you've got a copper penny. If you don't have a scale, you can also try the ring test. If you drop the penny on a hard surface, the sound will be noticeably different between the copper and zinc versions. Copper pennies will produce a higher pitch ring, while zinc pennies make a duller sound. Another way to identify a 1982 copper penny is by its color. The copper version has a reddish-brown hue, while the zinc version tends to be more dull and light in color. Now, you might be wondering, just how much is a 1982 copper penny worth? Well, as mentioned earlier, the value of a copper penny can vary depending on its condition. If your penny is in great shape, meaning it's uncirculated or in mint condition, you could sell it for hundreds of dollars. On average, however, a 1982 copper penny in decent condition can still fetch anywhere from $1 to $10. But let's take a moment to talk about the most valuable 1982 copper pennies. Some collectors have been able to find 1982 copper pennies that have been graded by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC) at a mint state 67 or higher. These pennies can sell for thousands of dollars in rare cases. There have even been reports of certain 1982 copper pennies selling for as much as $25,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1982 copper penny could be worth thousands of dollars, depending on its rarity, condition, and demand in the market. That makes it one of the most valuable pennies in the history of American coinage. But there's even more to the 1982 penny than just its copper content and composition. There are also rare varieties and minting errors that can further increase the value of the coin. One of the most sought-after 1982 pennies is the double die variety. These pennies have an error where the die used to strike the coin was misaligned, creating a doubled image on the obverse side, specifically on the date and the word Liberty. The double die 1982 penny can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the extent of the error. If you come across a 1982 penny with a noticeable doubling effect, it's worth having it professionally examined and graded, as it could be a rare and valuable find. If you've been lucky enough to find a valuable 1982 copper penny or a rare variety, you might be wondering how you can sell it. There are a few different options available. You can sell it through online marketplaces like eBay, where collectors and investors actively search for rare coins. Another option is to take it to a reputable coin dealer or auction house, where they can help you determine its value and find the right buyer. Before you sell your coin, it's a good idea to have it professionally graded by a trusted coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. A professional grade can significantly increase the value of your penny and give potential buyers confidence in its authenticity and quality. So, there you have it. The 1982 Lincoln penny, particularly the rare copper version, is far more valuable than most people realize. It's a small coin with a big history and an even bigger potential payoff. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or someone who just happens to have a few pennies lying around, keep an eye out for that 1982 penny. It could be worth a lot more than you think. Thanks for watching, and be sure to hit that like button if you learned something new today. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing videos on coins, collectibles, and hidden treasures. Until next time, happy hunting, and may your pockets always be full of valuable finds.